Welcome to Whiskey and Whitetails, the show where we drink whiskey and tell lies. I'm Gus.
I'm Matt, the non-liar.
Yeah. Right. And no, man, I had a joke that was really inappropriate. I shouldn't have said. I'm glad I should have said it, but I didn't.
You should have said it. You
Anyways,
could have beeped it out.
as always, thank you for your support. Thank you to our Patreon for everything that they do and their support as well. Thank you to the Waypoint Network for having us, and thank you, the listener, as I said, for supporting, commenting, sharing, all the things that you guys do. We greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. We haven't had an episode in a couple weeks. Took a little bit of a break. Had a lot going on, but we are excited to be back and chat a little bit about this and that. Did some updates, talk some hunting and barrel picks, and some funny news.
Yeah.
What else did I miss?
Did a State of the Union, talked about the company a little bit, some stuff
Yep.
you might be interested in. I don't think we have any ad reads this week because I didn't prepare any. So
No, I don't have any either. So
word.
We're
Well,
doing
you
this
hope
one
you
for free.
enjoy the episode. Yeah, free episode. Unless you're listening on a podcast app, then you get the same for. Oh, let us know if there's a political ad on there because we specifically
please.
told them not to. And I was listening to one today, not ours, somebody else, and it was a political ad. And I was like, I hope that they remembered we don't want those. So if you get a political ad, please let us know.
Sweet.
All right,
Enjoy the episode.
And we're back after a 2-week break, maybe something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Well, when this comes out, it will have been 2 weeks, I believe.
We had a lot going on. We had I was in Kentucky doing that youth hunt, and then I did a turkey pick, Heaven Hill pick. We had a whiskey class event. We just had a lot going on. You had Gavin's party.
Yep. Had family in town for that. And then just had. Dude, I've lost track of all the shit that's been going on. There's been so much of it. So that was that felt like a month because that was a lot of planning and a lot of coordinating and a lot of people. So that was busy. That kept me busy for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then spent the last week running around trying to find a vehicle for Gavin. So it's been a busy, exciting couple months for him, getting his Eagle project, his Eagle Award, and then getting a new car.
I like that car. It's I would drive it.
Oh, I didn't even get to show you. Hold on just a second.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Was that a gift from somebody from the Scouts?
It was from his dad, from his grandpa.
Oh,
So
cool.
these are the four. There are 4 different Eagle crests or symbols that are used, and then it's got some hand engraving on the little piece of.
Was it like a Henry?
Yeah, it is. It's made from it's a Eagle Scout Centennial thing that they did one year.
Huh. That's really cool.
It was weird because he ordered it in. It's got some stuff on the side too.
22 or 30? I can't tell what the.
It's a. Let me double check before I speak out of my mouth here. 44.
Oh, 44 Mag.
Yep.
Very cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's a cool gift. But yeah, they don't make very many of them. And he ordered it at a shop near his house. And I don't know if he got something. Oh, it's got this thing engraved on the buttstock too. Nice. I don't even know what it says. Oh, whatever.
I dig it. Sorry. You're good.
Yeah, apparently they don't, he ordered it. He had to custom order it and wait for it to come in. I don't know if he did some ordering late at night and doesn't remember what happened, or if it was all super just coincidence, but he ordered it to be delivered at a gun shop that he frequents in Fayetteville, North Carolina. You know as well as I do, there are a dime a dozen there. They're all over the place, but there's a few that are decent, and he ordered it there. But when he called to get a notification, or he got a phone call saying, hey, we have it, it was at the PSA in Somerville.
Weird.
Super weird. So he was like,
that's also really convenient.
Well, exactly. He was like, well, just leave it there. And I'll get it when I come into town. And he was coming into town like the next weekend. So it was really strange. So I don't know if he did it and doesn't remember coordinating that, or it was just some weird serendipitous thing, because it was really, really random to order it in Fayetteville. I could see ordering it in one shop and it goes to another, but in the same town. But That was
I
just
would have
weird.
definitely just ordered it in the state. That way, if I couldn't make it, somebody can go pick it up, like one of y'all.
Right.
Also, then you're not trafficking illegal firearms across the border
There's that.
or whatever illegal means.
Yeah, it's all subjective.
Yeah. Oh, when does this come out? Oh, dude, it comes out Monday. So the next day is election day.
Hmm.
So my vote is for sale to the highest bidder.
Oh, same.
I don't give a shit. So if you want me to vote for your party, you gotta make it worth my time.
I
So
have an 18-year-old whose vote is up for sale.
yeah, my wife
I'll,
too,
I'll sell it on
actually.
his
So
behalf.
I can get you 4 votes, South Carolina votes.
I already I voted early, so I'll have to sell other people's votes. They
Yeah,
they won't mind.
I haven't been yet. I just keep forgetting. The problem is I leave before the polls open, and then zero
By the
interest in
time you
going
leave,
after work.
yeah, I wouldn't either. I
I
wouldn't
don't know.
either. I had a meeting get canceled a couple days ago. It was like a 3 o'clock meeting, and I told Jessica, I was like, "Let's go."
Yeah,
So like 2 o'clock, 2:30, we went up there. It still took us about 45 minutes to get through the line, but it beats sitting there for hours.
is it still the same thing? Like give them your license, and they give you the ballot, and you go in the booth, and
Yep, they scanned my ballot, printed out a blank ballot that just had like a my name and then like a serial number and like a barcode, and
yeah.
then feed it through the machine, do your thing, take it out, and you go submit it in another machine, and they give you a little sticker
Hmm.
that says I voted.
Yeah, I've done it before. I didn't vote last election. I voted the first one, and I think I voted the one before the 2020 or 2016. I didn't vote in 2020. I think I voted in 2016 and
You had just
2012.
gotten back in
Yeah,
2016.
yeah. I didn't. A lot of people do mail in ballots, which is what they're for, by the way. When you're deployed,
Right.
a lot of people did those. I did not. That was the last thing on my mind was voting for president.
Yeah, that's meant for people I think who are generally stationed overseas in Europe
Oh,
and whatnot. Like it's easy.
yeah.
My parents, that's how they voted when we were stationed in England.
Hmm.
I mean, it's nice that you guys have the option to do that, but also like how soon would you have to request a ballot to make it out to where you were? And then how would you even trust that it's going to get to where it needs to go?
I don't even know that they would bring it to where I was.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably not.
maybe
Dude,
unless
wouldn't
it
that be
came
some
by
shit
mail.
if the US Postal Service had like a tier one team that would come in and deliver ballots and fucking at
They
nighttime
fast rope out of a Black Hawk and with nods and
with a
shit, and they're
ballot
like,
bag,
"We're looking for specialist green."
fucking sanitized uniforms.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I think that they do have like an actual police force. I've seen a postal service guy before with a gun.
I know the IRS does as well.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I did not know the Postal Service did. That's wild.
I mean, I've only seen it once, and it could be possible he was just open carrying in his uniform, but it looked like he was official, like should
No,
be
bro,
carrying a gun.
can you imagine delivering mail in like Chicago? Yeah, I'll be strapped too.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I think that I figured he was like mail fraud or an investigator or something like that,
Probably. Yeah,
like postal service police.
Inspector General, I think.
I feel like this. I could just Google this. Does the post office
I was just doing the same thing. Like, why are we talking in circles?
carry guns? They're prohibited. Okay, so oh well, here it says postal inspectors are so inspectors get a 6 hour 40 cal. That's pretty good.
Wow,
So yeah, that is true. For law,
that's interesting.
they are sworn federal law enforcement officers who can carry firearms.
No, they just focus on mail.
How much does a postal inspector make? What do you think?
That's a government job, dude. Like,
Yeah, it's like a GS
I
job.
was gonna say like 80, probably 85
It's always
max.
hourly. I don't fucking know how to do hourly.
Yeah.
I've been
Um,
salary for so long. It's 22.86 an hour times 40
times,
times 52.
yeah.
47. That's not enough. Well, I mean, I guess. I mean, it's male, so maybe that is enough.
I don't know. I usually do.
It's not enough for me to do it. Is what I'm saying. I'm not carrying a gun for $47,000 a year.
That's what, that's law enforcement for you, man. Which
Yeah,
is wild.
just not gonna do it.
We're gonna give you some very rudimentary training. We're not going to teach you how to regulate your emotions or how to control hostile situations verbally. Even
Yeah.
though we have access to like decades worth of training that
Hmm.
hostage negotiators use, we're not going to teach it to you. But we are going to give you a firearm and a taser
Perfect.
and a vehicle, and we're just going to send you out to just figure it out.
That sounds good to me. Where
We
do I
do a
sign
ride
up?
along for like 3 weeks, and that guy will hate you
Yeah.
because you're going to get him almost killed probably 10 times.
Have you
But it's
seen
going to be great.
the Ice Cube thing about that? I think he was on
No,
Tucker.
huh?
So Tucker, I think it was
Oh,
Tucker.
his opinion about
Yeah,
police? Yeah,
I love it. I think it's really good. But
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I
It's a good
agree or
perspective
disagree,
to
but
have, like,
he basically said, because we get in trouble for bringing stuff up and not explaining it. He said, he was basically like, so you wrote a song that said "fuck the police." Like, is that still is that still how you feel today? And Ice Cube was like, "Yep." And he was like, "It's not the individual cop. It's not the person. It's the job." He's like, "It's a shitty job." He's like, "This guy wants to go home and see his wife and kids at the end of every night.
mhm,
You really think that he is going to abide by every letter of the law every single
right.
time, every stop, everywhere he goes, or do you think he's going to be a little jumpy and put people down for misinterpreting body language?" And it's like that's a really good point because I know I fucking would,
Yeah. Why
hundred
wou I
percent.
mean, absolutely. And I think I think that's generally the case across the board. Like, I don't hate individual postal workers. I hate the post office in general because it's
Oh yeah,
shit's always broken and it doesn't work.
yep,
I don't and maybe their song was directed at police specifically, but I feel like a lot of their messaging was directed at the system. I think that's probably what he was getting at. Is
yeah,
like I don't have a problem with individuals. They have a shitty job to do.
right.
But yeah, I remember that.
Another thing I wanted to talk about for those of you that are planning on getting whiskey and whitetails gifts for Christmas, we are stopping all that
Keep
because we're
talking.
just fucking tired of it. So currently, we have 3 cocktail smokers available, and after those 3 are gone, we are done. We are never making them again. Currently, we have one duck call left. Buffalo Trace handmade duck call. Once it's gone, it's gone. Glen Cairns, it says we have 47 in stock, but I know that we have about 18. So if you want to, I don't know, we may do those again someday. But anything made out of bourbon barrels, we're done. We got 1, 3 Glen, Stay Flight. We got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we got 5 cigar rests, and it says we have 13 turkey calls, which I believe.
I have those. I think we do have close to 13. I will check them. I have them in this box next to me, but I'm not going to dig in it right now.
So the main thing is the duck call and the cocktail smoker. If you want a cocktail smoker kit, we have 3 left.
Yep.
It turns out China can make them a lot cheaper, and it's just completely worthless because we had to raise the prices just like everybody else did, which it took us almost 3 years to do that. So now they're 60 instead of 50, 59.99.
Yep.
And you can buy the Chinese junk ones for 40 cents on Alibaba. So go get
We
you
got
some
stuck.
junk Chinese ones.
Yep.
The high quality ones won't exist anymore.
Yep. They flooded the market with the cheap ones, the top hat, the fog hat knockoffs, and people rushed to that because it was cheap, like anything else.
Yep.
And so when you have a very cheap product, you can pump more money into marketing, and that just wasn't something that we had the
We did not have a
privilege.
cheap product. We were we
No, we
were
don't.
we were a
And
lot
and
more
and
into
and,
that.
and honestly, we didn't need to advertise that much. We did great with markets and the things that we did.
I
But
almost
it's
want to,
it
since
gets
we're done selling them, I almost want to pull up the shop and look at, and this would be just Etsy because we've changed websites, so we don't have the metrics anymore.
which ones. I might have some that I pulled, but I'd have to go dig for them.
I was just going to click all time. So all
Oh,
time
cool.
looks like we've sold $93,939 in cocktail smokers, just on Etsy. Our
Yeah, that doesn't
website.
include Shopify, which
Yeah,
was
Shopify was a banger.
for the better part of 2 years the crux of our sales came through there.
It's pretty crazy. We had 40 repeat buyers. 737 thank you offer emails were sent. We had 40 people take it up.
Damn, that's crazy.
1,123 cities. We got 160 shop files, 279 reviews. It's pretty good. And now we're done. So,
So it goes.
Also, I don't know how regular we're going to be on podcasts. We're going to keep doing it for a while, maybe the rest of the year. But we're done stressing about this. So we're banned on pretty much every platform. Everything we do gets pushed down. Nobody sees it, and
It's
it's
a
irritating.
it's more
It's
than
all
irritating.
final.
I'm gonna vent for a minute because
Do it.
from day one, And you can go back to our earlier podcast and all of our ride or dies that have been around will remember the conversations. Uh, we very early on lost our ability to advertise on Facebook and Instagram
Yeah.
over uh, over inaccurate AI analysis of our products because we had terms like whiskey and bourbon in our descriptions, understandably, because they're made from bourbon barrels, and we have
Yeah.
a name like whiskey and whitetails. We tripped a lot of red flags in their screening process. Get it? Fine. They have a feature to allow you to protest that and go through a review, and we saw some success with that, but we saw enough times where we got dinged for it and flagged for it that it ultimately piled up and they just revoked our
Yep.
ability to do any of that and then more or less ghosted us, refused to answer emails, phone calls. And over the course of about 3 almost 4 months of trying to fight this, I only got was able to get a real person on the phone one time.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. They have the people who do these reviews are super insulated. You can't talk to them, can't get to them, and the only people that I have found that are able to do that and fight through those are specific marketing agencies that have connections, and you have to pay fat bags of money for
Yeah.
them to
We
go
tried.
fight these
We,
fights.
what did we lose? $2,800 working with one and got absolutely nothing from it.
Yeah, it was just shy of 3 grand. Just being fully transparent, and they made a lot of promises, and we got a month into it, and they were like, "Oh, well, this takes about 6 months to."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, we're not
$3,000 a month. Are
paying
you
3 months of
crazy?
brand out of your fucking mind."
Yeah.
So nip that in the bud real quick. We learned a lot. I mean, that's
We also
the good
got
thing.
a letter, right, that said the decision was final and permanent,
We did. We got a letter
or
and
an
an
email or
email,
something.
and it said that the decision was final and permanent, and that we would not be able to advertise. Now there's a workaround where I could have gone in and created another commerce account and another Pixel account and done some other things, and then associated it with the account. But everything I read online, it was such a 50-50 chance of success, and if you get caught doing that, they can just take your shit down
Yeah.
off of
They'll
social
take
media
all of
entirely.
your accounts.
And I wasn't trying to deal with that, so it was a bummer, but it is what it is. Lesson learned. If you have products or items that you're selling, content that you're posting that handles or is centered around, I don't know what to call it, suggestive or questionable,
Yeah.
18 plus things. Be careful about how you do it and research and look at. This is one thing we didn't do. We didn't spend enough time watching how other people were doing it to figure out how they were getting around certain things.
We
But
also didn't think that we would need to because we're not selling alcohol, which is they're very clear about that. You can't sell alcohol, which we weren't doing.
and part of my argument with these guys all the time was, okay, explain to me Flavor and some of these other ones who are
Yeah.
1,000%
Selling
selling a
alcohol.
subscription to get alcohol. I'm just selling some wood stuff. Like I didn't make it make sense, right?
Yeah.
Anyways,
I was trying to find I took a screenshot of it. Maybe I don't have it anymore. But it was like the verbiage that they use. It doesn't matter. It was like legalese verbiage. But the only thing keeping us going is Patreon. So letting you know about that. We're gonna try and hang on as long as we can, but there's hosting fees, there's website fees, there's Gmail suite fees, there's taxes, there's all this stuff. So if we
Patreon
get to
and
the point that Patreon can't pay it, we're done. Just letting you know.
Patreon and events. So
Yeah.
if you have events in the Charleston area or the South Carolina, whatever area, Georgia, I mean, we're not afraid of going somewhere if the money's right. But I'll toot our own horn. We throw a kick ass event, and we
We
have a lot of
definitely do.
fun. And we've never had anyone complain. We've never had anyone say that wasn't fun. I didn't learn anything, and I didn't have a good time. Hell, we sent we. How much do you think? How many homes collectively do you think were owned by the 12 couples that were at that last dinner?
Oh, dude, none of them live there full time. And then we're
No,
talking $2-3 million homes, and they do not live there full time.
they all have. I listened to conversations. They all have homes here,
Yeah.
obviously, because they were at that event. Several of them have homes on the Finger Lakes up in New York. Some have homes up in Vale and other places. These people are not easily entertained,
Yeah.
uh, and they were
It's not a bunch of rednecks at a
no,
campfire.
no. And between what we had going on, the class, our talking points and dinner, we had their full attention the entire time. Well,
And I was
as they
quoting
drank,
Marcus Aurelius. I heard that get brought up.
right, as they drank, their attention wanders, but that's to be expected, and we've gotten used to it at this point. So
And we've been invited back everywhere we've been, except
every
one
single place
place.
I can't think
But I
of,
don't want to go back to that place. So
except for the Hibernia, we haven't. There's not a single place we've only done once.
way to way to throw me under the bus there.
No, that
It's
wasn't for you. That's just a weird organization to.
No, I was just saying that there's only one I don't want that we didn't go back to, and I don't want to go back. And then you were like the Hibernian. Like,
Oh, my bad. I
yeah,
was I was busy talking, not listening.
it's fine. It's a great place. It's just it was a lot
But
of pressure. Those
that's
guys
a
are,
challenge.
and it went well. There was nothing wrong. It's just you know, it's just I was told that if they start throwing shit
Yeah,
at me, just to walk out, and they never did. But there was tables that would not stop talking, and it was
yeah.
pissing other people off. And I don't know. I just if I'm gonna take my time to go do something like that, I would like to
Yeah.
have people that want to pay
They
attention. So
that organization, I don't know, fraternity, whatever, they have a historical, like, they have a history of treating guests that way.
yeah, they threw
You either get their attention and you're all in, or they will drive you out of that place, and Matt managed to, hang in there.
yeah, I made it, but they threw dinner rolls at Joe Biden, so it just shows that they don't care who you are.
That's great.
That's one of the reasons they quit serving dinner rolls is because people would start throwing them.
Is that really that's funny as
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, good times. But anyway, that's the state of the union, I guess. We still enjoy doing podcasts. We're still doing events
Yeah.
and traveling and seeing stuff and doing things. Our travel budget is obviously nil now, so keep that in mind. If you invite us somewhere, we have to pay out of pocket, and I don't think
Yeah.
either of us are going to do that.
The short version of what we're saying is the products are going by the wayside. We'll continue to do
We'll
this
have
because
hats.
well, we have hats and
Probably.
we have products
Yeah.
that are still going, and if we can, we will continue to do the podcast as long as we can because we enjoy it,
Yeah.
and we know that they're especially our Patreon members and other folks enjoy listening. So we want
To
to
be
keep doing
honest,
it.
the only reason we didn't shut it down is because of Patreon. Like
Yeah,
we've had many conversations about this. I'm probably going to send an email out soon. We've both written our piece, and I need to put it together. I don't think the timing is quite dire yet. It's basically a goodbye email, but
yeah,
we're hanging on. It's we have a lot of great feedback. I know that people enjoy listening, but shit's not free, and everything's
yeah,
getting crazy expensive. And instead of we were thought about adding cheaper Patreon tiers, but I don't think we have any. I don't think there's any option to go cheaper. So,
yeah, yeah.
but
It is what it is, man. We'll continue to talk through it and work it out. Patreon, if you guys have ideas or suggestions, that's what the executive producer
yeah,
kind of role is for. So hit us up. Let's talk.
if it's an idea about how to get unbanned, don't even waste your breath because that's been 3 years we've been trying to do that.
At this point,
3
I'm
years.
exhausted of it, and I'm not interested in marketing and selling those things online anymore. It's
That's
just
also why
something.
the content's been dropping off, honestly, because I post it and then it gets shadow banned and it gets no views. It's like 1,000 views, and I'm
Yeah,
like, I
you guys.
spent
If
I break out a real camera, I film stuff, and then I sit down and edit it, and I take my time to find good music for it, and like I put a
Yep,
lot of time and effort into it, and I do enjoy doing it. But if I'm not just going to make content to make it, it's got to be something I want to make. So
sure,
you'll
it's
start seeing.
understandable.
We did hit over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which means we have the ability to be monetized. We talked about that before. I know Joanna
Yeah.
has been keeping us on play in the background, so thank you for that. Tiffany keeps telling me that she's like, every time I walk in there, she's got Whiskey and Whitetails playing.
Nice. Well, hopefully
Love
they
it.
don't get tired of hearing our faces and seeing our voices.
Yeah, 100%. I did have some stupid news.
Well, before we do that, I want to talk
Yeah,
about the picks, man. You did some cool picks that not everyone
yeah, I
knows
did.
about. Those are
Yeah.
fucking. I think those are dope. One in
Yep.
particular.
Well, that whole weekend, so I flew out there Friday with Breeze, and then we had a youth hunt at Camp Hero Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Hmm.
I took a kid hunting that's never been hunting before with his
That's
dad, who's
cool.
also never killed a deer before,
Awesome.
and he put a doe down. Good doe for a first doe for 10 years old. I'm going to post that video probably tomorrow, so it'll be out by the time this podcast comes out.
Nice.
But got to do that and then hang out. The kids were absolutely amazing. I mean, not squeamish at all. I've got videos of a little girl playing with deer brains in her fingers, just mushing it around, and they were chasing each other with deer hearts. And when we killed his, I pulled the heart out and I kept it, and I came back and I cut it open. I was giving people pieces of deer heart. It literally tastes like mushrooms. For those that don't know, that's what it tastes like. Those white cap mushrooms that you put in as filler for other things.
Hmm.
It's good. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's a way to cut it to where you can flatten it out and cook it like a steak. We
Yeah.
didn't do that. We were just eating it raw. But
Nice.
after that, every deer that got killed, they brought the heart back just so I could cut it open with them and teach them everything.
That's funny.
But it
Those
was a
kids will
great
never forget
setup.
that.
Mm-mm. It was a lot of fun. So I slept in the back of a Wagoneer, which, by the way, if I could afford it, I would buy one. The only reason I can't afford it is because it had a ton of electrical problems and it had 6,000 miles on it. So I can't
Damn.
afford to have a broken 100,000. Well, I don't know that I can afford $100,000 SUV, but it was a lot of fun. Crazy sound system. I mean, insane. It's an
Oh, I
Alpine
bet.
sound system, and it was
Nice.
unbelievable. The bass hit so hard that it was like it reminded me of like high school days, and it was hurting my ears. Like I would listen to it for like 10 minutes, and I had to turn it down. I was like, that's too much. Um, but yeah, so I
That's cool.
picked up Caleb, Shay, and Michael at so Michael's at the Medicinal Whiskey Cherry. Shay is part of the South Carolina Bourbon Club, and then Caleb owns Gibby's Bottle Shop.
Nice.
So we went first day straight to Wild Turkey. We had a guy that just an employee doing the pick because all the family was kind of out of town or had the day
Yeah.
off because it was a Monday and they're closed on Mondays. So we did. They pulled out 4 barrels. So when we went to Hollow Creek, we picked the first barrel, which is, we were joking like that's the first time I've ever picked the first barrel.
Yeah.
We did the same thing at Wild Turkey, and
Oh,
that
shit.
is the best wild turkey I've ever had in my life. It was unbelievably good. And luckily
Yeah.
the market has downturned, so I'll be able to get hopefully like a case of it.
Nice.
Fantastic. So we picked that and then we were walking back and we were like getting ready to pee in the bushes and this car pulled up and it was Jimmy Russell. And
Oh,
everybody
wow.
was like, oh, so I come up to him and somebody said something about turkey. And then he was like, do you know? Oh, I know what it was. Somebody said where they were from, somewhere in South Carolina, I think.
Okay.
I think it was Irmo. I don't know. And he was like, "Do you know what's in Irmo?" We were like I know what it is. No, is it Irmo? Anyway, that's where the National Wild Turkey Federation is headquarters. And so he was talking about that, and then I got to talk turkey hunting with Jimmy Russell, which is chalk that up as a bucket list item. That was
Heck
super
yeah.
cool.
That's
I was very thankful to be able to do that.
yeah, that's awesome.
And then we talked for a while. I met his wife, and then he ended up leaving, and we left, and then we went downtown and got dinner at a fancy restaurant. And great story happened, but I'm not going to tell it. That's just for for us.
Fair
Um,
enough.
but a very funny story. And then we just kind of like hopped around the town, had a good time, and then the next day we went to Heaven Hill. Everybody was hungover and sleeping, and it
Yeah.
was funny.
Did
But
you
so
guys go to the same Heaven Hill that we had gone to?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. So we went in the Rick House across the street, that big glass one, the
Oh,
new
cool.
one.
Okay. That's what I was gonna ask. Got it.
So we went in there and they had 3 or 4 barrels that we tried. And one that we really liked was like way off profile. And we walked over there and looked at the barrel and it was an old Fitzgerald barrel. So it's going to be a larceny pick, but the liquid inside is going to be old Fitzgerald. So
Oh, that's fucking cool.
that's pretty cool, which I don't think they're going to tell anyone that. So, little
Oh,
secret.
that'll be a little inside kind of thing. That's cool
Yeah.
shit.
Cause larcenies don't really sell that well. So, you know,
No, but you could put the word out, that the pick, and you have a picture of that. I
yeah, I
saw,
do.
I saw the picture, so that's kind of some cool proof that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We were thinking about doing the stickers and somebody said we should do reservoir dogs, like the image,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the white background with the 4 guys walking, and
Right.
call it Rick House dogs.
That's a good one.
Thought that'd be funny.
That's not bad.
Um,
Oh
yeah,
man, how many guys are there in that movie?
the movie title has four dudes.
It'd be cool to do 4 different picks and call each one Mister Pink, Mister Red,
Yeah,
whatever the names are. That'd
yeah,
be fun.
that would be cool. That'd be easy to do too. Just change the label, change the wording.
Yeah, more or less. We can just do the same thing,
Yeah,
same model.
but that was pretty much it. We hung out Tuesday night, and then Michael flew home Tuesday night. We off left Wednesday morning, or bright and early. Got home and hung out, and I think so. Tomorrow, you and I are going to scout.
Hmm.
Well, we might as well just say it. It's Firefly Distillery wants to do a hunt with us. So,
Yeah.
well, it's Tom and Huck, right?
Tom Huck. Oh, sorry. I didn't know if you were trying to come up with it or if you were trying to figure out if you were going to say it or not.
Saying that, yeah, Tom and Huck. Sorry for those if y'all are listening. My brain's spaced. I figured it out before I googled it, so I did know what it was. Anywho, so we're doing a thing with them. We're gonna go scout some property tomorrow, and then I think the hunt's in December.
Yep.
And then I have a event at the just basically bartending whiskey and telling
Right.
people about the spirits December 13th. But other than that, we're not doing anything the rest of the year, and I'm very excited for that.
This is the first year since 2019, the first holiday season since 2019 that it's now the end of October that I'm not spending almost every waking moment
Yeah.
covered in sawdust and and char from from barrel staves.
Yep.
So
You remember the
I
first year, dude, how crazy it was that, like, I had my kitchen and it was just I mean, I was taking F-250 truckloads
yeah,
of boxes to the back of the post office, and they'd bring out those big things, and I would load them all up. They'd bring another one. I'd load it all up. I mean, we were God, it was so busy. It
it was
was really
wild.
cool, but
It was really cool, and then unfortunately, I don't think either of us had the business experience to understand what was going on in the market and where it was going, and that's just it's just inexperience. Like you learn shit, right?
we kept saying, like, there's
I think
a
we
new
saw
person
it
turns
coming.
21 every day.
Yeah, I think we saw it coming, or we could see what was happening. We just didn't understand fully that it was going to be as big of a shift in that market as there was going to be.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
people start knocking you off, and that's the end. I mean, that's,
the one thing I can say with confidence is that our game calls are still fantastic and
yeah.
second to none, in my opinion. I think
Yeah,
they're great.
Jacob is
So,
a fantastic caller, and I hate that he's hearing right now that we're not
well, we
doing anymore.
probably
I mean, we
shoot him a message before this comes out.
yeah, yeah,
But it's one of those things. It is. It's if we're not going to do products, I could totally see a situation where maybe for special events or whatever, we get a special run of some things made and either as
yeah.
gifts or to sell just for fun.
It's
But
definitely not goodbye forever. It's, and I mean, I like the guy, so
yeah, for sure.
I hope that he still hangs and talks to us. Every once in a while, he'll send me something on Instagram, which is fun.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to.
I didn't
Nothing.
tell you. Did I? I never even told you about this, did I?
No,
I
but you
have.
did.
I I had a like a cyst or thing growing in my like neck right here, and it got like the doctors were like, "Oh, we should probably biopsy that." And I'm like, "We need a biopsy." He's like, "Well, it could be scared the shit out of me for like
Yeah.
weeks," and then I went and got it cut out, and he was like, "Ah, it's fine." And they sent it to a lab. In fact, not a big deal, but I got this like huge 4-inch incision right here on my trap. He filleted me open to cut and dig this shit out. I sat there while he fucking uh, used a cauterizing pen to cut this thing out, and I can smell
Mm.
my yeah, dude, it was so nauseating. I'm sitting there
Yeah.
trying not to, and I went in there with uh, yeah, a lip pillow shoved up in between my gums and didn't have anywhere to put it. So I was riding that train, my head buzzing like crazy, and that damn smell. I was trying not to puke all over myself, but it went fun. It was good. But now I've got these annoying ass stitches right here.
Dude, the other
That's
day I had
that's
like
fun.
10 pieces. I've never been a nauseous kind of person. Like, I
Mhm.
just don't. Even like when drink, I just don't puke. But I had like 10 pieces of Halloween candy the other day. And I immediately felt like shit. The next morning I got up and just the thought of chocolate, I almost had to pull over to puke. It was so foul. I don't know
Uh,
why. I mean,
that's
it tasted good when I ate it, but it was
yeah,
not for me.
yeah. It's never worth it.
But I would imagine my own skin burning with a Zen in is probably a little worse.
Was not a good idea. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. To be honest with you, though, I've had stitches taken out several times. The process of getting stitches is way less uncomfortable than having them pulled out.
Oh yeah. I don't like having them pulled out.
No. The one of the only times I've ever almost passed out was watching. When I had my shoulder surgery in high school, I went in because I've been doing physical therapy for like, they make you do physical therapy after a joint surgery like that almost immediately.
Right.
So I puked my first PT session because I'm literally 2 days out of surgery and they're having me like move my shoulder. And the one that did me in was I had to lean over and put my good hand on a desk and let my arm hang there and just move my body, my torso back and forth and make my arm swing. And
Yeah.
the amount of pain that was causing it caused me to puke. And then but I almost passed out when they took the stitches out. They used what he referred to as my dad at the time referred to as mattress stitches because they go down really deep to
Hmm.
close up the wound real deep inside. And all that was showing at the top was this just little stitch. So I just assumed it was like a little stitch to close up the little hole. And she snipped the top, and then she grabbed with the tweezers this little bit that was and pulled out this giant fucking string out of my shoulder, and the way it felt, and it was
Yeah.
just like I was
It's
like,
just
"I gotta."
working through your skin.
I was like, "I gotta lay down for a second."
It's like
It's the only time I've ever been close to passing out at a doctor.
when you draw blood and they're like fishing around in there. Same feeling. I hate
Dude,
that.
I've had that happen many times.
Dude,
Never felt like passing out.
I haven't, I haven't had to give blood anymore. I think my body fixed itself.
The last 2 times I've been in, I gave a unit last time. I was like point 0.2 over. It was like 15.2. They were like, "Well, let's go ahead and do it." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
all right, well." But I've been steady in that range for months now.
Yeah. I haven't been in,
We're talking about hemoglobin
yeah,
levels. So
hemo
those
from
don't.
TRT. Take TRT and then your body's trying to regulate and thickens your blood up and you gotta get your oil changed as Gus calls it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think the only
So,
thing medically that's ever made me puke was Suboxone.
yeah, there's some medicines that have made me puke, but
Shit
I don't know if they're
tastes horrible.
count that. Um,
Don't look up what Suboxone's for.
okay.
Um,
What else we got?
I got stupid news.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Boom, boom, boom. All right. They're in no particular order. All right. A man who found $20 on the ground used it to buy a $1 million winning lottery ticket.
Fuck that guy, man.
I know. North Carolina resident hit the jackpot twice. First when he found $20 on the ground outside a convenience store, and a second time when he spent the money to buy $25 winning scratch-off lottery ticket worth $1 million. Which I almost do you remember how the mob used to do that?
Mm-mm.
Like was it Al Capone, I think, won the lottery like 15 times or some crazy shit.
Oh no
Because
shit.
people win the lottery and he'd like get a touch of them and be like, hey, I'll pay you out in cash. Because he needed
Oh,
to
right now.
justify his income, like justify having
Damn.
money. So he'd pay him out in cash so they wouldn't have to pay the taxes and fees, and he would take the winning lottery ticket. So I'm almost wondering if this dude isn't
Could be.
some
It
kind
could.
of like huge drug kingpin. He's in Banner Elk, so could be
Man, I
selling
saw
meth.
there's some open source apps you can buy and put on your computer, and you can type in names and keywords, and it will anytime there's a news article or a link or a post anywhere on the internet that has that keyword, it'll send it to you. So if you're like searching for something real specific, you can find it. I have a friend of mine that uses it to find really hard to find car parts and vehicles when he's shopping for something, and
Hmm.
it searches nationally. So he'll find, like one time he was looking for a tractor implement that he just wasn't anywhere available on the East Coast. He put it up. He put this set this thing up. Found one in the middle of Iowa that someone was trying to get rid of for like a third of the cost it was everywhere else, and then he had to pay a transport company that was coming through there anyways
Yeah.
to pick it up, and he paid like $200 for that because the guy already had a basically almost a full load.
Wow. Was that Bo?
Yeah, it was.
Sounds like Bo.
Yeah, he's the most high tech redneck I've ever met.
Yeah. The
That's
reason I
funny.
pulled this up is because um, he said he planned to use the winnings to retire after working for 56 years as a carpenter as well as to help his children. But he said he also had more immediate plans, telling the lottery, "We're going to head straight to Golden Corral and eat everything they've got."
That's that may be a perfect response.
I thought it was hilarious. Uh,
Yeah, the only thing that make it better if it was a Sizzler
yeah, a Western Sizzler.
or a Ryan's. They still have those. Are Ryan's
Friendlies.
still open?
Dude, Ryan's had the best rolls. I
Dude,
don't
the
think they're open
best rolls.
anymore.
They used to fight. We used to fight at the table over those things.
Dude, we used to go, this is a sad story. We used to go to Fazoli's and
Hmm.
just sit down and crush breadsticks because they're free.
Yeah.
And we're poor as hell, so we get like a piece of pizza and eat like 20 breadsticks. And I remember them being so delicious. I went probably 2 or 3 years ago. I went to a Fazoli's. I think I was
Yeah.
in Maryland. I don't know where I was. I wasn't here, obviously. But I went in there and got a piece of pizza just so I could get breadsticks. Horrible,
Yeah.
like the nastiest shit.
So, when that happens, do you think, damn, this restaurant chain went to shit? Or do you think, like, as in quality sucks or they've changed their ingredients? Or do you think I've gotten older and I clearly just don't have a palate for shit food anymore?
I think it's Charleston, if I'm being honest. I think Charleston
Oh,
has
really?
ruined my palate.
It's very possible.
There's just so much good food here. I mean, everywhere you go, it's just delicious
Yeah.
food.
Yeah, this is a terrible place to live for as long as both of us will have lived. Um,
Yeah.
if we
It's gonna screw the rest of our life
ever
up.
leave and move, like, finding good restaurants is gonna suck.
Yeah. I don't think that I'm gonna be a restaurant person if I leave. I
Yeah,
just
it'll be
live on
hard.
my little property
You'll
and
be constantly disappointed.
yeah. It's a long drive. It's like 45 minutes to
That's true.
anything.
That's true.
All right, next one.
What's up?
Funeral home apologizes after body falls out of the hearse onto a busy road.
Oh, shit. These are great. I fucking love it.
Funeral home
Uh,
had to
the
apologize for a corpse it was transporting fell out of the hearse into traffic. The Heyyy's funeral service in Poland came under fire when a driver was surprised by a white sheet fluttering onto his car window, only to push it away to see a body lying in the road. Oh,
oh, man.
it's a mug shouty right there.
That's funny.
Oh no, that's not. She's sexually abusing boys. It's a teacher, 26 years old. So
Jesus.
that has nothing to do with this article.
That's not the what a mood changer.
Where were those when I
Um,
was in high school? It is with deep regret that we inform you that as a result of unexpected technical failure of the electric tailgate lock in the hearse during the transport of the body of the deceased, an unfortunate event occurred which does not reflect the high standards of our company, our deep empathy towards the families of the deceased, and the respect we always show to the deceased. Yeah, okay.
so I have had um I've regrettably had the honor of being a pallbearer on more than one occasion. um, those caskets typically slide on rails and lock into place. So
This
there was
wasn't in a
more than
casket. It had a white sheet over it. There's just a body hanging out back there.
well, still, it should have been on. It's almost always strapped into
Strapped
something.
in, right? I agree with
Yeah,
you.
and
They're just
locked
driving
into
around with
something.
this body bouncing around the back seat.
He must have been blaring some music or had fucking Joe Rogan in his headset, and he's just cruising around. No idea that a body's just in
How
the
pissed
back.
would they be? You just did all this beautiful work to it to make it presentable, and now it's got road rash from a
Well,
car
it's also very
accident.
possible that that's the coroner, and he was just picking up a body, and it was
Yeah,
on
that's
its
true
way to
too.
the funeral home too. I don't know.
Yeah,
I also don't know how they do that stuff overseas. Like the way we do things in the United States for funerals and deaths is not the standard everywhere. So I'd
right.
imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate, but I think it's also kind of hilarious. Like
Oh, it's definitely hilarious.
I would have laughed if it happened to me, or if it was my body. It's like, got him. I got this one just for you. Here's a video. Zamboni driver in
Oh
Chelsea,
no.
Quebec, arrested for impaired driving. He just slams into the board over here. Boom.
Yeah, he did. Oh, jeez. What a
25-year-old man
doofus.
was arrested after he drove the ice resurfacing machine into the boards at a rink in Chelsea, Quebec, while cleaning the ice between two games.
Too many Labatt Blues there, man.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
We're going
That's
across the
funny as shit,
border
though.
for French fries and whoa, why is that so loud? All right. Also, Australia, big win here. They are now resuming jailing 10-year-olds.
Oh, so they're making progress.
Yeah. They went back in time. So I think they changed it to 14. Yeah, they changed it to 14 to be in line with other developed countries and UN advice. But the crime rate was so high amongst the 10 to 12-year-olds that they brought it back down to 10.
Yeah,
Returning to the age
because
of 10 will ultimately protect children, despite doctors, human rights organizations, and indigenous groups disputing that logic. I guess it's the Aboriginal children that are out there doing things they shouldn't be doing.
getting into mischief.
Yeah, I mean they're bored. They live in rocks, I think, right?
I don't know what they do. I'm pretty
In
sure
huts.
they're some of them are more advanced than that. Maybe not.
I have no idea. I've
I'm
seen
just an,
videos of them, and they. Oh no, this guy's wearing like a.
yeah. I'm just an ignorant American dude. I don't know, but he looks like if that's the look I would get if someone was like, "Hey, we're gonna change it, and if your 10-year-old gets in trouble, he's going to jail." I'd be like,
Dude, this guy. This I've never. I don't know that I've ever really paid attention to an Aboriginal, but I believe that these people came from India, right? It's got like an India style face, it's just darker.
they got the whole
I mean, that's the closest place, right?
region. Yeah, it would be India. I think if I don't really know to be honest.
10-year-olds still have baby teeth. Protester said. What if it was your child? Oh, they're saying it's racist towards indigenous people.
If it was my child,
It's
be
just
sitting at home.
colonization. Oh, by the way, I watched
Oh,
Am I a Racist last night?
oh yeah. Is it funny?
Amazing. It's
Yeah,
funny as fuck. It's hilarious.
I
Like
heard
the
some stuff about it. Sounds great.
well, the premise of it is basically he goes and gets DEI certified, like for real, and then
Oh,
starts
really?
teaching DEI classes, diversity, equality, and inclusion. And
Oh, I didn't realize he did that.
like they had him on like talk shows and all this stuff in disguise.
Yeah,
Um, but it's funny because like all the people that are into that, he trips them all up just asking questions.
yeah.
Like I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but then he goes to a biker bar. Hilarious. Like what you think is going to happen does not happen. People are like, "Why do you keep bringing up race? No one gives a fuck. Quit talking about it." And he's like, "Well, that shows that your systemic racism and your whiteness is stopping you from recognizing that it's a problem." He's like, and they just can't. They're like, "I don't understand. Like maybe some white people have a problem, but we don't. Not here. Nobody here
Yeah.
has a problem." Like, but it's quite funny, dude. Like he has these DEI people on that have written books, and they start
Oh,
like
yeah.
he tricks them into like it's I'm not gonna ruin it. It's unbelievably funny. It's
I know
probably
that
the
he.
best comedy ever made.
I won't say anymore about what this is because the actual the individual. It's almost worth watching the whole movie, and I haven't seen it yet. But I'm. This is the only one of the only reasons I'm looking forward to watching it. There's an instance where he convinces someone, and I can't remember if they're in on it or not, but he convinces someone, doesn't he, to pay someone else reparations?
Yeah, the black guy is in on it.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
But the girl, she has the number. I was trying to find her name, but I
that's right.
can't think of it. But she has the number one selling, like getting rid of your whiteness book. Number one selling, and yeah, he sure as shit got her to pay this dude reparations. It was she was like, "I don't think this is," she said that, paying reparations is systemic, which would make it racist for me to pay him reparations. Like, she was trying to get out of it, even though this is, like, her MO, that's what
The
she
whole thing,
speaks.
right?
And then the guy's like, "I'm totally comfortable with it, I'll take free money." And so, like, no shit, in the middle of the interview, she goes to her purse and gets money out
No
and
shit.
gives it to him.
That's great.
It's so crazy. The dude is like his nephew or something. It's like a family member.
Oh, no shit. Okay, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's funny.
movie's hilarious. It definitely proves that it's stupid. I like it because he shows how much he paid for all these diversity people to come on, like
Hmm.
people to come on and basically agree with him and just kind of spew their logic. Um, and he shows how much he paid each one to come on. It's pretty crazy. Like these people, a lot of them. Andy was telling me that a lot of them started deleting their pages, like their
Oh, I
Facebook and
bet.
Instagram, because they were so embarrassed because how stupid it made them look.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Yeah,
And you can do so much more. I mean, I did catch an interview where he said he had to drag some of these interviews on for hours just to get people comfortable
yeah,
and into some of the rabbit holes and areas he wanted to explore. And some of them didn't even make the film. And then some of the stuff you see, 10 or 15 minutes worth came from 3 hours worth of
yeah.
recordings. So you can only imagine what you can do in the editing room too.
It's kind of like I didn't expect it to be as brutally honest as it is, because I was like, maybe there's something to this. Like we go to DEI training, that's part
Yeah.
of working for the
Right.
government. I've been to plenty of it, and I mean, I think it is important to be aware of people's feelings and not upset them. I think diversity hires are probably dumb. You should be hiring the best candidate for the job, not based on how they look. I mean, I think that is racism in itself. But
Sure.
I'm also just an idiot. I don't know. So, but I will say, as they go through it all and they're talking, it's quite hilarious because I mean, it's I'll tell one more. I don't want to give any more away.
All
So
right.
he's talking about his daughter being unless you don't want me to. Yeah, spoiler alert if you're
Oh, go
gonna
ahead.
watch. All right. He's talking about his like the princesses, right? And so the lady's like, we should be looking at princesses of color, not white princesses as white people. And he's like, right, my daughter loves Moana as the princess. That's her favorite princess. And she's going to dress as her for Halloween. And then the lady's like, that's cultural appropriation. You can't do that. And he's like, oh, so she has to dress like a white princess then. And then the lady's like, uh oh. Like you
Yeah.
can just see it in her face where she's like, shit.
Hmm.
So now, like, I guess his
Didn't think
daughter
that one through,
can't
did you?
dress as a princess because if you dress as a white one, that's racist, and if you dress as a Hawaiian one, that's racist. So
Right.
there's no answer.
No.
It just proves how stupid it is. The
If you
whole
follow
movie.
all their logic, because the thing is a lot of those, ugh, we don't have the time to do this.
Yeah.
they develop their opinions in silos and they don't think about.
Right.
There's no critical thinking involved.
Right. Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
Last one, and then I'm starving. Irish man, 31 years old, thanks rescuers after surviving 650-foot volcano fall in Indonesia.
That dude's still alive. Jesus.
Yeah. And he's standing in this picture for those that can't see it, but 650 feet fall down an active volcano in Indonesia. Paul Farrell from Sligo slipped and fell while hiking on Mount. I'm not even going to try. In West, not even going to try that either. According to media reports, he rolled down the steep hiking trail off a cliff, but suffered only minor injuries to his shoulder. He was found in the shade of a small outcrop with a few deep cuts on his face, legs, and arms by a rescue team, and he was winched to safety using a pulley. Smoking a cigarette and thanking his rescuers, the hiker vowed to take care and not stray too far from his hotel. Jesus. That's the Irish for you, man.
Yeah. Smoking a cigarette.
650 feet. Gashes on his face and hands and arms, and he's smoking a cigarette like, I promise I'm not going to leave the hotel anymore. It's hilarious.
Crazy. Cool.
All right. Well, that's all I got. We're cutting it short. We had a late start, and then I'm starving. And Gus, you have something to do.
I do. Got to be places.
Yeah. So that's all we got. Thanks y'all for dialing in, checking us out. Let us know in the comments who you want me to vote for, and how much you're willing to pay. And I'll get back to you. Lickety split. So yeah, that's all I got.
It's been long.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks for tuning in.